So for next Monday, because that gives me time to choose the story. I mean, I already have an idea of them, and I already know more or less, you know, yeah, I already have an idea. But if someone wants to submit an edited version, you're welcome to it. Does anybody feel that they have the capacity at this point to submit an edited version? Because of course you want to focus most of all on the on your own story, because that's the one that we will definitely publish in the anthology. So priority one should be your own story. So it seems to me that nobody wants to edit the story we planned together, and so it's only Liana who. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, for next time. And Wana?
Yes, I think I would like to try to edit the story, but the thing is, I don't know if you managed to send me a feedback. I haven't found anything in my email, but I had some issues with the email, so I'd rather ask.
Okay. Well, you were the last one who sent me the
Yes,
story.
the one that I sent exactly on Monday around noon.
Right. Okay. So I probably didn't send you any feedback, but yeah. Okay, I'll do that. I'll have a look at it and send you some feedback. Let me write this down. In the course notes. Right, feedback for Wana. Okay, good. And okay, and now when it comes to your own story, I have received 3 outlines. Let's see, I think I got from Elisa, from Dana, and from Raluca. Is Raluca here? Because I don't see everybody. Yes, you're there. Okay, good. So, what about the rest of you? Have you written something so far when it comes to outlines?
Yes, I start to write a structure, but then I got stuck. I had no idea that would satisfy me, but I will finish, I guess, by next time. I hope.
Okay. I think, yeah, it would be a great thing if you could do it faster than for next time, because next time is the second from last time, and then you have to write it, and that takes some time to write it. So it would be good if you had a draft for next time, because then you could edit it and and format and all that for the last time. So I think we should look at everybody's ideas, even if you haven't sent me something. So, but let us start with the people who did send me something, and then after that we can look at what you have, so that we have a plan that you can progress from, because it's all right. I mean, we're not going to stress, but we do have to keep a certain pace in order to be finished on time. And it'll be great if everybody can have a story in the anthology. So let's have a look. I think we will do it if everybody agrees. Well, whoever doesn't agree doesn't have to do it, but it would be great if we can look at those outlines on the screen, and it would be great if we can look at the outlines on the screen, and we can because then everybody can learn from it, you know. And if everybody, you know, and then let me see. So Dana, would you be okay with us looking at your story outline?
Sure.
Okay, great. So let's see, I'm just gonna find it. Margot's matchmaking. Okay, so what do we have? Right. So yeah, so we have here, let me see, perhaps we should, yeah. Okay, so maybe when we do that, I mean, we agreed to record, and as you perhaps have seen, I've put the other ones up, otherwise I can send you the link. And as we agreed, you just let me know if there's parts of it you don't want to have recorded. Maybe this part with the individual outlines on share screen, we should not record. Let's see.
I'm okay with that. I mean, if you don't want to, I'm okay with recording mine.
Okay, okay, okay. So each individual person, just let me know. Okay, so in that case, right. So we have here, and you're also welcome to tell me afterwards, you know, if you want something cut out. So we have here Margot's matchmaking for half humans and other magical beings. So let's go through it a little bit. I did have a chance to look at it. I was wondering if you were inspired by The Master and Margarita.
It's one of my favorite books.
Yeah. I can relate to that. It's one of my favorite books as well. So I recognize some inspiration there. Good. So would you like to present it to us based on this outline that we're sharing, because you can probably say it best yourself. I mean, first, and I will say one thing. I think it's good that you've written the outline exactly as we said, you know, with the tagline, the physical characteristics, the psychological characteristics. That's good, because that's part of this thing that we're doing. We're trying to do things in a kind of schematic and orderly way. As we talked about last time, we have enough chaos in there. So yeah, let's do that. So please present it, Dana, in the context of the snowflake method.
Okay. Well, first of all, I have to say that having worked with the method for the first story, I found it so helpful to write down the paragraphs. So for me, the part that has been super helpful was writing down the paragraphs with the introduction, the beginning, and then the disasters that the character goes through. It didn't take me too long to write the first story once the order of the paragraphs was very clear to me and I outlined it. So that was my favorite part. The fun part was thinking about the characteristics of the main character. And of course, once you think that you have a main character, you know, I made a choice and made that character a woman. The first thing I did was actually write down the title. And I know that maybe that's not something people, do when they write a short story. Sometimes the title comes, or the title may change as you move along with the story.
Sure.
But for me, it just came out. It really just came out. I thought about what I want this to be about. First of all, I have to say I have never, ever in my life written fiction before.
Mm-hmm.
And the first story that I wrote was the first fiction work that I ever did. I wrote hundreds of articles and, other kinds of writing, but never fiction.
Well, it's great that you're trying something new. Yeah, that's really awesome.
The first story was a great start for me to think of different things, and it just unlocked my imagination in a very different way. So I did start out with the title, and then I looked at the physical characteristics of this character that I thought about.
Mm-hmm.
I chose 5 physical characteristics. I imagined her. First of all, I located her in time and space. So I decided that that was going to happen right now in today's time in Bucharest. And I imagined her being pretty young. She's 38, and she has fair skin. She has long auburn hair. She has cat eyes. There's a special makeup that women use to make that stand out. So I imagined that about her.
Okay.
Full lips and a pointy nose. And then looking at the psychological characteristics, I find that this, I was trying to scroll down. That's funny.
Yeah, I just, there we are.
Yeah. So the thing with the psychological characteristics is that I feel those, I may want those to change as I go deeper into the story, or I may not find these specific 5 as being the key ones as I go deeper into the story. I did, I wanted to lay down the most important characteristics of the character.
That's fine. And it's good that you have them down at first, and you can change them if you find that it doesn't work when you're writing the story. But let's have a look at them. I mean, first of all, I would say about the physical characteristics. She seems kind of witchy, like with these cat eyes and the way that it's accentuated, etc.
Yes, I definitely wanted her to be, well, from the title, you can grasp that there's something magical about the story from the title alone. Absolutely. And I like that about the title. I really like a very strong title, and that may come from my expertise as, writing so many articles. And whenever I write an article, I make it, my point to put the essence of it in the title. Mm-hmm. And so I want to grasp that essence in the title of the story and give a glimpse, not of the character, but that it is a magical story.
Great.
So she's, partly a magical being,
let's have a look at the psychological characteristics, and we will see how they also harmonize with the physical characteristics.
Well, she's witty and funny, and witty in the sense that, she has a smart answer and a funny answer to everything, and she has a positive outlook on life. Mm-hmm. She's a psychologist, and she's liked by her clients. And when I say that she likes to be directive because she knows exactly what they should do, I imagine that she, in another dimension, she might have been a fortune teller, for example, but she's a psychologist analyzing people's behavior instead of analyzing their fate, so to speak.
That's not exactly a psychological, I mean, yeah, you could say, if you say she likes to be directed with her clients, this is about how she interacts with her clients. Did I just disappear? I think my camera went off.
Would it be better to say that she is extremely intuitive, or she appears to be? Because that's what I actually meant. She has a way of knowing exactly what is wrong with her clients or in her client's life. very,
Sure.
very shortly after meeting them. So they perceive her as being intuitive, and she may come across as directive because she would basically give them a diagnosis very soon after meeting with them, which is not something that all psychologists
I think
do.
that
In
being
fact, they-
directive is more of a psychological characteristic than intuitive, because this is how she actually acts. But because again, when we look at show don't tell, we have to see what is the judgment of the person themselves, and what is their objective behavior, you know, seen from the outside. And so you could say that, yeah, she's quite directive, she's commanding, however you want to put it. She's directive without coming across a bit as aggressive. So it could be that, you know, because we're talking about now the psychological characteristics, and those things with her being intuitive are definitely valid. But right now we want to see kind of how is she psychologically, what makes her tick. You see what I mean? And also doesn't like to go out of the historical parts of the city for meetings or work. What does that say about her psychologically?
Well, I don't know how to capture it in just one word, but she doesn't like the modern present time. She doesn't fit there very well. So maybe she's not very well adjusted in modern society.
Okay, so you have to. Okay, so now it's not that I'm not picking on you, but everybody is going to go through this. The thing is that we have to make some firm choices about this person, so that writing will be so much more easy. And in order to make some firm choices, we have to say, okay, what does this say about her? Because of course we're not trying to do show don't tell in the outline. Here we can tell as much as we want. So what does that say about this character's psychological makeup? Why doesn't she like to go out of the historical part of the city?
She doesn't like corporate people. She doesn't like people who are not imaginative. I don't know how to say it in just a few words. I mean, I feel I know how she would behave because of what her belief is. So this is more of a belief system that she has, and I think that is psychological. It's also a part of what she values.
Yes, I think that's very good. She doesn't like corporate types. She's a bit of a maybe romantic and nostalgic, and you know, you can write those things down and see if they stick. You know, as you said, you can change those characteristics later if they don't fit with her. But try to pin her down now. Try to really define her as much as you can by saying, okay, she doesn't like corporate types. She's nostalgic about this, you know, so so that you get an idea of exactly what she likes, what she doesn't like, and who she is.
So I think I made it a little more clear in the opinions part.
Okay, just a second. Yeah. Likes to walk everywhere and gets her most creative ideas while looking at old buildings and drinking a cappuccino. So what characteristic is that?
She likes to contemplate. She she has a special type of creativity that is enhanced by contemplating.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
she just loves architecture. That's why her office is in an old part of town, and she likes to meet people in special, old historical parts of Bucharest.
Yeah. So if we were to give her some psychological characteristics based on this, what could we say? Because she doesn't, it seems to me like it's very related to the other one. She doesn't like to go out to the historical part of the city for meetings or work, because she's romantic, she's nostalgic, she doesn't like corporate types. So she likes to go to walk everywhere and get some most creative ideas. Okay, so this also seems to me that aesthetics, she's very aesthetic, she's very, again, romantic, that kind of thing. So you see what I mean? If you want to,
Yeah.
When you work on it afterwards,
yeah, but she also is a snob. I just realized, that she's socially and culturally biased and snobbish in the way that she would just like to be surrounded by social and cultural elites of the town, something like that.
Great. That's really good. You definitely put that in. That's a very good psychological characteristic because it's precise. Right. So, and here in the opinions, she's repulsed by arrogant men and women. How could we phrase this as an opinion?
Yeah, she hates corporate people. It's so easy
Sorry?
for me. It's related to her view on corporate people. I guess it's again related to that, but it doesn't just belong as a characteristic to the corporate world. It's also in the political world. It's a characteristic. It's a way of being you can find in many places, but not in all. So, for example, you're not going to find this characteristic in so much at this level in the social world or in the cultural world.
So, how would you phrase this as an opinion? Is repulsed by arrogant men and women? And what kind of arrogance are we talking about? You see, just like with show don't tell, we have to be very precise, because I mean, she might be arrogant also, but in a different way. So, which kind of arrogance is it that repulses her, and how can we say this as an opinion? Like, I don't know. Corporate types are stupid or whatever, like something more precise than that.
I think it's about people's depth of emotion and appreciation for non-material values. That she was able to create a world around herself where she has, a number of people who share her values about culture and contribution to society. And even though those people may have expertise and may talk about what they know how to do, they don't talk about it yeah, that's right. She's not self-interested. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Is that a word? Yes. So she hates people who put their own little lives and personal gain on top of community and society as a whole.
Okay. So basically, corporate people are petty and, I don't know, petty and selfish. That's an opinion.
Right.
That's an opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next one, men should embrace their masculinity and women their femininity. That's an opinion also. So that's good. So beliefs in soulmates and karmic relationships. How do we make that into an opinion?
Well, she had already several karmic meetings and relationships in her life, and she experienced that, so it's an informed opinion.
But as an opinion?
That only those relationships are worth living.
Okay, only soulmates and karmic relationships are worth my time, for example?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's an opinion. Idealizes pre-First World War and interwar period in Romania. Hey, how do we make this into an opinion? Okay, you see what I am? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So those that's easily, I can easily turn that into an opinion. Just say that time in Romanian culture and society, in her opinion, was the best time for the country.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the best. Feel she can't show her romance because it would make her too vulnerable. So you see, we have to make that into an opinion also.
Yes, appearing too romantic in front of men makes her too vulnerable.
Yeah, that's right. That's an opinion. Okay.
And women, not just men, and women.
Okay. Hates gossip. Okay. Yeah, you know how to rephrase that into opinions. So let's see the motivation. Okay, waiting for a soulmate, show things, partnership with someone else, and that it has big impact on people's spiritual lives. Okay.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Could I send you my the document that contains pretty much what she did now with the physical, psychological characteristics, opinion,
Yes,
and
please.
the motivation?
Yes, please send it to me, and
Then maybe we can look at it also.
we will. Yeah, we'll go through it during this session. Yes, so please send it to me.
Okay, I'll do it right now. So it's your name at gmail.com, right?
Well,
Robin, it's Robin. I'm sorry.
no, it's Rob. It's Rob.
Ah, okay, it's Rob, and then
My middle name.
The Wild or Wilt?
Yeah, I mean it's Wild, but yeah. So it's a wild with a T on the end, right? At gmail.com. Yeah.
I got it. Thanks.
That's it. Great. Yeah. So send it to me, and good. So this is her motivation. So is this abstract motivation or is it concrete motivation? Anybody?
Which
where it says motivation here.
I believe it's abstract.
Well,
or
okay,
it's a combination.
It's I would say it's more concrete motivation, but because it's specific, right? I want to find my soulmate. I think that my life's, I want to fulfill my life's work. But yeah, fulfilling my life's work is abstract. So yeah, it has both things. Yeah, and also she's not certain psychology is her life's ultimate mission and is drawn to occultism and magic. Okay, so that again is kind of abstract. Like I want I want a bigger knowledge of the occult, for example. So if we were to put this, Dana, into like one sentence, and you're welcome to expand it afterwards when you work on it yourself, but let's find one sentence that really defines it, because again, this is the thing about chaos and order. We have to shear away as much as we can in order to have something that we can always return to and say, it's this, it's not this. So what would you say, and to Liana, I will say, yeah, actually, it is mostly abstract motivation, this, so yeah.
She wants to,
Mhm.
she wants to build a spiritual practice that will help people achieve self-realization, and wants to do that in partnership with someone.
Okay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's I would say that is more than one motivation. It's she wants to meet somebody, and she wants to build a spiritual practice that will help people. But yeah, we could say, yeah, she wants to build together with someone else, she wants to build a practice that will help people. But I think that what she wants is a romantic connection with this person, right?
The thing is that she saw this model. It's not, there is a model here of having a common practice that's based on a romantic but also spiritual relationship. And this is something that I can describe very well because the character has been exposed to this model a few times in the past. And it's a model she felt really matched her need for self-expression.
Okay. So so the thing is, I have to be quite schematic with you and with everybody else in order to get things clearly defined. So we can let's say, as you said, she wants to build a spiritual practice that will help people, and she wants to do it with somebody else. So that is abstract motivation. And what would her concrete motivation be? Like something that she knows about in her life that she wants to change.
In her life, or maybe around her?
Maybe around her, yeah.
She wants to help people understand how powerful they are.
Okay.
And that they can build, lives. They can build whatever life they want.
Okay. And
that every single person has a very special talent.
okay.
And there are ways to find it.
Okay, so for now, let's just say that she wants to help people understand how powerful they are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. And then she has, her kids, marital status. All right, paragraph structure. Okay, so can you give us, a summary of the paragraph structure? Like, because paragraph 2 is quite long. So just the idea, right? Because the 5, in theory, each of these 5 should be a sentence. So, so try to cut it down, and it's not only to save time. It's in order to sharpen the focus. So, what would paragraph 1 be? Okay, just
Do you want to say something else? Or?
just start reading it, and then you can see as you go along.
Okay. She lives in Bucharest in an old house with her 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
She juggles her counseling practice. I can't see the entire screen because of the wait, actually, yes, I can do that. And the children's education and needs with the help of her mother and kids' dad, because most of her clients come to her outside of her own working hours. Margot oftentimes has early sessions which start at 7 a.m. or late evening sessions going until 11 p.m. She does research at the university in the field of couples compatibility. She has had a passion for oracle cards and the gods of Olympus for decades.
Okay, so that's good.
I would put that in a shorter or in one longer sentence by saying that a psychologist, she is a psychologist working long hours with a passion for couples compatibility, but also for I'm not sure how to.
It's all right. It's all right. It's only a loose rule that it's 1 sentence. I mean, it's 5 sentences in a paragraph. It's completely all right. I've done the same thing. I've also had, several sentences in each of those. But it's just an idea. I mean, the first one is the normal world. It's what the situation is before the story really gets started, before the call to adventure, right? As we talked about when we looked at the hero's journey. So that's fine. This is the situation. She does this counseling, and at odd hours. And then number 2, that's the first disaster. So what is the first disaster?
One night when she finishes a session quite late, just being in her office, opening the kitchen door in her office, which leads into an interior garden in the office. She steps into another dimension and meets a magical being who.
Okay, that's and does this magical? Oh, he offers her great. Yes, he offers her great magical powers in exchange for setting up a matchmaking practice where she would cast spells over some of her female clients and inspire them to fall in love with centaurs without fearing their appearance. Yeah, this is really nice. I really like this, and so this is quite an opening. Okay, it's quite a proposition. So then, what does she do in? So the thing is, I'm trying to get everybody to hear everybody during this. So we'll go through. Okay, number 3, the second disaster. What happens there?
Well, she gets to meet the magical being who is a centaurus. She gets to meet him, to get to know him better. And as she gets to know him, he tells her more about what his real intentions are. I mean, her specialty and her passion was couples compatibility. So he was, they were thinking by combining her passion with magical powers, they would
Mhm.
find suitable matches for Centaurus, for
Yeah.
magical beings, to with actual women, with human women. But as she
Okay.
gets to know him better, she realizes he has some hidden motives that she doesn't necessarily understand or agree, and she doesn't want to be a part of that.
I see she wants to
Because-
back off from the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he tells her it's too late. So yeah, that's quite a disaster. She's caught in the trap. And now number 4,
She
the
runs. She
the
runs.
last
She
disaster.
tries to run away. Yeah. She tries to run away from the whole situation, but then she thinks that it's possible, but realizes while being away with her children in the mountains that she herself has become a magical being and that she has magical powers. And then we see her discover those and start using them and realizing that she can't possibly give them up anymore. She can't go back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. And so the resolution.
The resolution is that she actually starts putting together a matchmaking practice for magical beings and human women, but she does it in a way that sounds ethical and positive to her. I guess she finds a compromise for that.
Mm-hmm.
And she also has her happy personal ending because she does have both a romantic and a partnership relationship with the Centaurus she met. But it's a compromise there too, because she keeps what she values most, which is her human life and the life with her children,
Okay.
most of the time or for a while.
Okay, so this is great. I would say this thing with the paragraph structure, you did that really well, because it really follows the thing that first we have the normal world, then we have, the first disaster call to adventure, then the next disaster trying to back out of it, and the third disaster finding out that it's too late, and then coming to a resolution in number 5. So yeah, that's really good. And I would say that you can continue on that path and then of course see if you need to change something about her characteristics or you realize something about her characteristics. Good. So now let's look at the next one. What do we have?
Can you check if you've received mine, please?
I have received it.
Okay, great, thanks.
So Raluca, the next one.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, let's look at her, the physical characteristics. Mhm. Yeah, we can see it. Is there something? Did you have specific ideas regarding these physical characteristics?
No, not exactly. I just built the character as I went, sort of imagined it. I didn't necessarily try to connect her physical characteristics to her moral ones or psychological ones.
Mm-hmm.
I just imagined a character, a
Yeah.
main possible version of a main character.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Nothing to say about it. Just
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. And so with this method, you get to define it. Okay, so and the psychological traits.
Can we see it too?
Are you not seeing it?
I think you must always stop share and then share screens again when you switch to something else.
All right, let's see. Here we are.
Yeah, now we do. Thanks.
Great. Okay. So the psychological traits, yeah, can you present it, Raluca?
So I basically wanted her to just be, I wanted to sort of capture this strong desire to have a great, meaningful life rather than just a small one. And I wanted her to have, so for the first part of the story, I wanted her to have a truly successful life, something that society would be very happy about and praise her about. Um, that's exactly because I wanted her to end up understanding that she doesn't actually want that. She doesn't want society to praise her for her career or her accomplishments like that. She wants to discover the world from a different perspective, and she after everything she managed to accomplish in her career, she still finds herself thinking about her life as being a small one, and she hates the idea of having a small life. So that's exactly what she wants to run away from, in a way.
I see, yeah. So she's ambitious, tends to become depressed. Yeah, that fits. Hopeless dreamer. It's difficult to stay grounded. Yep, that fits. Eager to discover more about the world and herself. And friendly, finds people and their story is fascinating. Okay, because she would like to have a fascinating story herself.
Yeah, right.
Okay, good. And her opinions.
Like I said, people should never settle for a small life. And small things are not the true source of happiness, as we so often hear. She doesn't think like that.
Yeah.
She's also a reader. I didn't mention that. So she's convinced that people who read are usually the ones who tend to have their own worlds and hide inside them.
Okay.
And I also touched on love a little bit, as I usually tend to. And for her, love is sort of like a made-up concept, and she's convinced that her happiness will never depend on the existence of love in her life, which will end up changing, I believe, throughout the story.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, this is good. These are all opinions. And okay, and her motivations, I see abstract happiness and self-discovery, concrete breaking out from the never-ending circle of her current life. Yeah. Does she have something even more concrete, like a specific way that she would like to break out from it?
Nothing came to my mind. I don't know what she could do to actually say, right, I've broken out of that circle and I'm fine now. I'm okay with my life. My life is great now. It's just not small anymore. How can you decide one day that your life is no longer small and you're okay with it? I just couldn't find something more concrete than that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if there's nothing specific that she knows about that she...
No, she just doesn't know what that means. She just doesn't have a definition for that great life she wants.
Okay, that's fair enough. So,
what if she wanted to become a writer? Would that fit in with the rest? I'm just asking.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't envision her as a writer, though. I just wanted her to. I made her later on in the paragraph structure. I made her become a worker at the vineyard in Tuscany, because I just wanted her to do something that was not necessarily a career or not something necessarily intellectual, just labor, just real labor. So just making I wanted her to do things with her own two hands and just
is this to reconnect with nature, or
completely different than anything she knew before?
Right, right. Yeah, that's something you could do to discover yourself. So, okay, but I see we have, is this the tagline?
Yeah, the tagline is probably the most difficult part of create for me at least.
Mm-hmm.
Just couldn't seem to make it shorter or more interesting. I wanted it to be catchy and um, in a way just captured that very essence of what I'm trying to say in this story, but I couldn't. And
Okay,
I'm not happy with it at all.
so let's see if we can do it. I think that I'm good. Yeah. So, motivation. Where's the tagline? Okay. A young Parisian lawyer decides to give up on her prospects of a successful, socially praised life and leaves for a journey of self-discovery, which ends up being equally filled with joy, regret, hope, and sorrow, and changes the course of her life forever. So, what we can do, it's kind of brutal, right? But it will have to be brutal if we're going to get it down to 15 words. So we can basically go a young Parisian lawyer, because all this decides to give up on her prospects of a successful, socially praised life. That's all contained in the fact that she's a lawyer. See? And the part of the successful, socially praised life is in the lawyer, and the journey of self-discovery is in the giving up. So we can just remove that. A young Parisian lawyer leaves for a journey of self-discovery. Okay, which changes the course of her life forever. Why? Because okay, I know it's brutal.
No, it's fine.
But
really interesting to see that it still makes sense after.
And it's all still in there, I find.
Yeah, it's still there.
because it's because the success, the giving up of the success, and all the experiences, it changes the course of her life. So we know there have to be lots of experiences, and this is also show don't tell, right? So
Yeah.
great. So let's have a look at it. Paragraph structure. Okay, yep, cut this short, good. Can you read it aloud, please, Raluca?
Yeah, so Patrice lives the dream of any aspiring lawyer with prospects of becoming a partner at one of the biggest law firms in Paris. So like I said, I wanted her to be very successful, have a bright future ahead of her.
Yep.
And then a series of apparently coincidental events rekindle her burning desire to discover herself and the world from a different angle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what those coincidental events are yet.
Oh, yes, this is dangerous. This is dangerous because this is where we get into territory that needs to be defined, because before you go ahead and write it, it's best to define it.
Yeah, that I didn't pay that much attention to that, but I think I should. I have to think about it.
Yeah, because I know how that is. I've also thought of that, but then you have to sit down and say, okay, exactly what happens and how does, and what makes it happen also. I mean, what is it that sets off this string of coincidental events? Because obviously, okay, it's in the definition of the first disaster that, okay, something comes from the outside and forces her into something else, right? So that you really need to think about concretely. So yeah. Okay, she decides against these thoughts, but a sickening wave of depression ends up changing her outlook on life. Yes, okay, that's very good. With the she refuses the call, like in the hero's journey, but then this wave of depression forces her. But we need to define it again. Changing her outlook on life, like how, in what way does her outlook on life change, and what exactly happens?
Yeah, so before that, she finally manages to convince herself that she can actually still be okay with her life, and not give up on anything that she worked so hard to achieve. But after she goes through that wave of depression, she realizes that the only way to get out is to do something about it, to start acting on these
Mhm.
desires of hers. I
That's really good. Yes, you have to find like the specifics, but
I try and sketch her so that she is, in a way, she manages to, I don't know, I can't really find my words, sort of just realize what she needs to do and just start doing it at one
Mhm.
point. Just stops wishing for it, just starts doing it more.
yeah, very good. I mean, it is definitely like it is a good structure. It's the classical thing of the um, hero's journey or the initiatory crisis, that this is how these things happen. You thought you were going to do one thing, but there
You,
was something inside that knew better, right? Um, but you need to find something specific.
yeah.
So maybe she leaves for a journey of self-discovery. So you could build it up around the journey of self-discovery. Like maybe she gets an invitation to something to go on this journey, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Okay, she becomes a worker at a vineyard in the heart of Tuscany, where she meets Cosimo, who introduces her to a completely new dimension of the world, filled with rituals and customs she had only read about in fiction books. Their relationship takes an unexpected turn. Okay, so uh, this new dimension of life, of the world, filled with rituals and customs. What is that? Is that something Italian or?
No, I wanted this Cosimo guy to just be very weird and have these weird habits and just believe in these extremely magical, spiritual, but still very weird things that are very new to her. And when she hears about them, she is at first she is conflicted, but then she is actually ends up being fascinated with it. She likes listening to all those stories and uh, but I didn't actually want them to be necessarily romantically involved. Maybe they could at some point try something, but then that's not the essence of their relationship. I didn't necessarily want him to be romantically involved. Just be, I don't know, in a way, just they would have a relationship that they never had before with anyone else, that's sure, but they couldn't necessarily label it as anything. That's what
Okay,
I'm envisioning, something weird like that.
okay. So yeah, so this guy is into magic, and
Yes.
that's good. And this means that he can show her a completely different world, which is good. Um, so So and here and this is after she's taken action herself and gone to work in the vineyard in Tuscany. So yeah, so that's good. That is in the logic of the story that you would get rewarded for that. Yeah, but let's see. Their relationship takes an unexpected turn. What unexpected turn?
So the logical idea would be that they end up falling in love with each other and have this beautiful love story. But I didn't want that to happen necessarily. Like I said, maybe they could at some point try something, but that's not the essence of it. And then I just wanted them to become sort of just so close that they at some point just see themselves becoming as one. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if it's going to make any sense when I actually try to write it, but I'm envisioning a very weird relationship, something that you cannot put a label on.
Okay, that's good, but you have, it's very good. Okay, so your meta structure is good, but you need to put some details on it.
Yeah.
Because this is how it helps you. It helps you because you know what's going to happen, and it seems to me that there are too many open questions at the moment.
Yeah,
So
that's right. I thought so too. I can see them. It's just I didn't feel like I had the story. I don't think I know the story yet. I have
okay,
to discover it.
okay, that's fair enough. And you've taken the first steps.
Yeah.
But my advice to you and to everybody who is in between things, just sit down and decide. Like just decide, because because we only have a certain amount of time, and this is actually good that we only have a certain amount of time, because this helps you to learn to just produce the story, and um, it will help you, in the future also, when you say, okay, I have to do, I don't know, I have to to produce the story, and I'm not sure if I can do this, and etc. Then you know that you can do it, and you can know you can do it in short time. But also later you can change your mind about things and moderate them. But now, just make some choices about what happens, even if you don't think it's the perfect thing, because you'll be surprised when you actually start making hard choices, what kind of things will also offer themselves to you from your subconscious. It often happens like this, so that's a good thing. Okay, she's left heartbroken and forever changed, but with a sense of excitement. She makes it a mission for herself to further decipher the mysteries of the world. That's a great ending. Okay, that's a good resolution. So I would say it's paragraph 2, 3, and 4 that you need to work on. I mean, sentence 2, 3, and 4 in the paragraph structure. Yeah. Okay. So it's good work, and you just need to make some choices. That's what I would say. Okay. And now, Elisa, let me see. Did I open this one? Yeah, I believe so. Story. Oh yeah, I have to stop sharing and then start sharing again. Okay. Oh, this is Raluca. Let me see. Story plan. Okay. Is this yours, Elisa?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. So let's see. I'll go to.
It was really difficult to do.
Uh-huh.
I have to say. I was just like thinking, just like, because I'm daydreaming like all the time about like stories and stuff. And I was just like, couldn't settle on one idea. I just had so many. And like, usually I would just grab like some pieces that I have, like just like memories or like something, like some triggers. And then I just like don't see how they can work together. And then it's just like, I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Basically.
And so, but you managed to give them some coherence. Great.
I guess.
I think this light. Just a second. Okay. So.
Right.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, so tagline, every single Monday a reckless boy walks around his neighborhood after taking drugs and watches a girl who sits at the window from a distance, always looking different. So how many words do we have here? Okay, so we need to cut it down.
I actually do. Yeah. I forgot that it is 15, like the maximum like words. Yeah.
That's fine, that's fine. It's you know, it's a technique that helps to see. Just cut it down to 15 because then you can get a more focused look. But okay, this doesn't really describe the whole story. It's just the beginning of it, right?
Yeah, I just like I just struggled with it. I really didn't know how to write a like an interesting tagline, and just I don't know.
Sure, because this could be like a, we could edit it and make it into a taster for a movie or something, but as a tagline that describes the story, well, let's see. Okay, so here's the paragraph structure. All right, let's have a look at the paragraph structure. That's fine. Okay, so would you like to present it?
Yeah, so basically, so the first one is an 18-year-old boy takes a drug, methamphetamine, and goes outside, and he just like wanders around his neighborhood. He's actually from New York, in the Bronx. It's like
Okay.
a kind of like a weird, sketchy neighborhood, kind of. And he, at one point, he just gets on like a lonely street, and just like sees, like looks at the houses. He's just like really just looks for the details and analyzes everything. And he just like sees a girl who sits at her window and just like, I don't know, just looking like lost, kind of. And I don't know why he found her interesting. It's just like he decided that he wants to come every single Monday to just look at her. Like something was off. I just want to say that he believed that something was off, and like kind of like didn't believe like that she looked like that, kind of. And she actually changed every single time, and every single time she just like wore like a different outfit. She had her hair like some, like I don't know, she once she wore a wig.
Why does he come on
Another
Mondays?
time she was just like, yeah.
Why does he come on Mondays?
It was just like the escapism day, kind of. He just like felt like he wanted like a sense of routine, because that's why I explained in like the characteristics of the character. And he just like wants to make a routine out of everything, and somehow, I don't know, he just wanted to have like a I don't know, to just like pretend that everything is all right, and for just for his parents not to find out that he is taking drugs. So he would just like, I don't know, he just found like a pattern that they just like don't even like observe him, like what is he doing, like I don't know.
Okay.
And especially on Mondays. Yeah, I don't know.
So he must be a very methodic type of chap.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And the first disaster.
Right. And at one point the girl sees him on one of on one of the nights, and then she just went to the door and like left it open. It's just like kind of like uh the temptation. I just like hold it like the temptation of just like getting in and just
Yeah,
like find her.
it's a very good first disaster because it comes from the outside and it's a temptation. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
the second disaster.
Right. So, and yeah, he sees like a police car at the end of the street and just like runs away. But although he was taken into the police car and receives a notice that he shouldn't walk there. And it's just like because like the neighborhood was like all the time just like verified because it was really sketchy. So it's kind of like a sketchy neighborhood. And he was grounded by his parents because they found out about the police notice, but they didn't find out anything about the drugs, which was
That's
interesting.
good.
So then he runs away and he's just like kind of like he has his doses and he buys like every time, but it was actually like his last one. So he would just be like, oh, I would go and I will make it worth it, kind of.
Okay. So he's
he wanted
taking
like
these drugs
and then the third disaster happens because he's like super confident that he can change his like life and he can find he's not happy that he's taking the drug. Like he just wants to escape somehow and he wants to find something to just make him feel alive other than the drug, because he feels like really helpless basically.
Okay, she has a breakdown and tells him that he is a lost cause.
Yeah, that was really discouraging.
Like, where does that even come from? I mean, she doesn't know him.
She doesn't know him, but they have like a really weird conversation just like out of nowhere. She just like, I thought like of a scene where they are just like in her room and they just like play chess or something, and at one point she tells that he will win somehow and she just like breaks the, I don't know, how do you say it, because I don't know.
Board? The chess board?
Yeah, just breaks the board, just like all the pieces just like
okay.
everywhere in the room.
She sounds like a pretty special person. So
she's a pretty special person indeed. Yeah.
Have you made characteristics for her
no,
as well?
I didn't have time to make it, but like I'm just still thinking, and I want her to be special as well.
You probably should, yeah, and you should decide whether she is. I mean, what her problem is basically, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Why is she behaving like this?
I was thinking that she would say something like, I don't know, because she has like different approaches, and she's like, again, like sometimes like really confident because she opened the door, and then she changes like every single time. So maybe she's bipolar, and she just like has this like bipolar disorder, which makes her feel like this and take these decisions, pardon. So
that could be. Yeah, you should read up on psychiatric disorders such as bipolar and borderline.
No, I'm actually really interested in that. So yeah.
Yeah, you could also look at borderline personality disorder because it's also because it looks like she freaks out and that kind of thing. That's also a characteristic of BPD. Yeah, so good. Yeah, definitely work out her characteristics. But
and definitely the ending is just not a happy one, unfortunately.
No, but you have to know why it is. You have to know why does she react like this, and what's really going on behind it. Even if he doesn't know, he's just hurt and he's perhaps naive, but you have to know what's going on with her, the reason why she would say something like that to him.
Definitely.
All right, so the physical characteristics.
Actually, I want to ask you, can we change like the perspective if we want to have like an explanation, or should it be still from the guy's point of view? Because like, I
I
don't
would,
know exactly how should I
of
explain.
course, writers have done different things, but I would recommend that you do it from the guy's point of view.
Oh, okay,
But
all right.
so even if the guy doesn't know the reasons for her behavior, you know it as the author,
Oh, fair
and you
enough.
perhaps you can let some details show that he doesn't pay attention to,
I
but
see.
that the reader might catch on to and say, well, why was that, you know?
Oh,
Like,
actually,
do you know that
yeah.
old film, The Usual Suspects?
No.
Has anyone seen The Usual Suspects?
I've only heard of it.
Okay, so in The Usual Suspects, you know, with Kevin Spacey, it's like we keep thinking that there's one story, this is how things are happening, but there are different details in it that don't fit. And as you watch it, you think sometimes, well, this doesn't fit and that doesn't fit. And then only at the end, there's a resolution where everything is explained, but it doesn't have to be, everything doesn't have to be explained. It can just be something that the reader can catch on to or not, which is,
I
you
see.
know, a little more sophisticated often. Good. Okay, so his physical characteristics.
Yeah, so yeah, I said that hair reaches his shoulders and is dyed in like cobalt blue.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like kind of like more like unusual and stuff. Has his ears pierced. He just like has like some skater style, just like when it comes to like his what he wears, just like Converse or Vans, like shoes and graphic t-shirts. Just like really baggy pants and
Mhm.
just like yeah. Then he, just like always
Oh, and
black
very dark under
eyebrows.
his eyes. What is that due to? Is it because he's a little bit, his health is not that good?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
He's taking
definitely.
too many drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
good.
he doesn't. His sleeping habits are not good at all.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Yeah. And the psychological characteristics.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of adventurous because of like walking around at night in his neighborhood. Although he knows it's sketchy and maybe something might happen to him, it's
Mm-hmm.
just like he still does it. Like he doesn't. I don't know.
He's daring. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And also very curious, just like analyzes and questions everything around him and daydreams frequently. And that would be interesting, like to actually put some details. And it would be ironic that he doesn't realize something that is right before his eyes
Mm-hmm.
and would not see, and that thing would be the exact thing that the girl is just like, I don't know, her the that would be explain the way she acts, like why she acts like that.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. So yeah. So he analyzes and questions, but he's still
Mhm.
kind of oblivious to many things.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Understanding,
Then
empathetic.
understanding, yeah, they I would say that I want them to have like of course in that scene when they play chess, like he tries to understand her and
Mm.
he just like really like asks her questions and stuff, and just like wants to see how she is, like why she was different in like all the nights.
That makes
And
sense. Also, that the fact
yeah.
that he would kill himself based on something she said, he would have to be
Yeah.
pretty empathetic to do that.
Yeah.
Good at controlling his temper. Okay. So he's kind of self-effacing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of self-effacing. That's a good one to have, because we have to corroborate that he commits suicide. I mean, that's a pretty strong reaction. I mean, it's the ultimately strong reaction. So Yeah, so this good at controlling his temper, probably he's self-effacing, he makes other people more important than himself sometimes, this
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Good. Avid reader, really good at
Memorizing
mesmerizing
quotes.
quotes, which become principles or ideas in his life. Oh,
Yeah, he actually like tells her a quote at some point. Like I was just thinking that yeah, I like to look for quotes myself, and I was just like thinking that maybe he can say something to her to again show his understanding and like the way he thinks and like what he
Yeah, that would make sense. He's like he's pretty sensitive, right? So
yeah.
yeah, make sure they all of those things point towards that he might kill himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, no one is normal in the world. Everyone has some sort of madness in them. Yep. He probably has some experience of that. I need to escape from this world for a while. That is why I love drugs. They give me escapism I need. I'm scared of people looking at me with pity. Okay. Yeah, I mean, try to make it an opinion. Perhaps I'm scared of people looking at me with pity. That's that he's scared, but an opinion would be perhaps people who look at me like the worst thing that can happen to you is if someone pities you.
Oh yeah.
Pity is worse than spite or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just listen. Yeah, so he's a good listener,
Yeah. Yeah.
which also gets him into
Oh,
trouble.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, motivation's abstract, the need to escape. Concrete really wants to feel close to someone. So he would stop taking
Yeah, close to
drugs.
someone. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The need to escape. Okay, and also I guess he wants to get away from his parents.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
He wants to escape from his addiction, but he feels unsafe and misunderstood when he's sober, and he's afraid to ask for help.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's great. That's a really good conflict.
Thank you. I actually want to begin with something like, I don't know, his parents, I want to be like, they have like discussions at the table because they eat together all the time. And he would just like be there, like really trying to keep his rage in. And like they would talk about, like his parents would talk about like, oh, why would they like try to commit suicide? There's another report about that. There's like, there's something on the news. And like, oh yeah. And you were afraid of needles since you were little or something like that. So yeah, they would just like they believe that he wouldn't actually do that at all. Like yeah.
Because they don't understand him.
Yeah.
Definitely. Sure. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I like it, and also with the remark that you really have to corroborate that he would commit suicide, like
Yeah.
that, because otherwise it becomes something that the reader will not believe. So there's the danger of that. If you make his reaction to her words be that he commits suicide, you really have to show it, that, and perhaps make the reader guess that it might happen. Something like that. Yeah. All right. And the next one we have Liana. I just have to open it. Let's see, parts of us, Liana. Of course,
And
I stop sharing.
I have a few things to say which are not on it also.
Okay. So let me see. I'm going to share screen again. Parts of us. Right. Actually, I'm going to just enable editing. Then we'll get a better view of it. Why isn't it working? Okay, or not. I don't know why it's not working.
It doesn't let you edit it?
No. All right. I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna open it again. Oh, no, it won't let me close it either. So it's sort of frozen, but it can. Okay, it
Should
will
I
let
send
me.
it in the chat again or?
No, I think it's just Word that is acting
Okay,
funny.
being laggy or
Yeah. So
I thought there was something wrong with the document or the way it.
I think it's Word. I think it's Word because it won't let me close the document either. So let's have a look at it. Yeah, so you have a parts of me, parts of us, the tagline. This looks actually like it's the right length.
I've tried. I don't know why it's so strange that I can't see it. Like you're screen sharing, and I
You can't see it?
see it, but I see it as small as one of our like faces. Like
Oh,
a
really?
face. Yeah, but I'll just.
I think if you double click on it, it'll get bigger.
I've been teaching via Zoom for half a year now, and I'm still so bad at this. It's incredible.
Yeah, well, join the club.
Okay, I can sort of see it. I've managed to enlarge it, but it's still pretty small. It'll do. I mean, I have the original doc anyway, so I can look at that.
Yes.
All right. So should I quickly walk you through it?
Yeah, let's do that. So I would say with the tagline also, she makes an unlikely friend who helps her get over the disappointment of being infertile. Yeah, it's a good structure of a tagline. We'll have to see if it covers the story. So yeah, physical characteristics.
Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. I hope she has long blonde hair down to her bosom, very dark eyes. She's fashionable. I don't know if I should have been more detailed there. So she likes to wear whatever is fashionable at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
She goes with the flow. She, in terms of clothes, and she takes good care of herself, which is why I wrote youthful and fresh in appearance. Maybe I should have added she. Due to that, she looks very good for her age. So she's somewhere in her 30s, but I didn't yet pinpoint the exact age.
Right.
35, something like that.
Okay.
I'll add that now, about 35 years old. And she is pretty tall, about 175.
Just decide her age. I mean, just say 35.
35.
Yeah.
35 then. Okay, so for psychological characteristics, is methodical about what she does. So she likes doing things very attentively and carefully. She's a bit meticulous about, how she packs her bag, how she will organize her objects, things like this.
Mm-hmm.
Believes she should be the best at everything she does. She's very ambitious, which ties in with the first one. So she wants to make sure that everything is spotless. She loves children in general. She's very fond of children of any age. She likes to travel a lot, and she has trouble finding the right words to express her feelings. I don't know if I should have been more specific. I mean this orally. So she can sometimes write things down, but she has trouble really voicing things face to face, looking somebody in the eye and telling that person what she feels.
Yeah. So I mean, we have things that stand out here, right? So she's methodical. She's very ambitious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So we can even, like, the characteristics, we can even cut down to those things. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I thought that the last one would also tie in because speech is so imperfect and you're never in control of what the other person makes of what you say.
Mm-hmm.
So it would go with the rest, I think. Opinions, I wrote them as if she's saying them. So our purpose here on Earth is to create a better place. So she's quite idealistic. She likes to think that she can save the world in some way.
So let's just if we back up a little bit, so she likes to travel around Europe and the rest of the world. So she, that's good. What does that say about her, like psychologically, or
She's a curious person.
okay, she's a curious person. Maybe
She's cultured.
she's cultured. Maybe she likes freedom. I mean, because she likes traveling. I don't know. It's up to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so should I change that to what I specifically think of her? Because I would say curious and cultured.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's very good. Yeah.
Okay, let me just do that now then. All right. Should I move on to the opinions?
Yeah.
So our purpose here on Earth is to create a better place. Having children is something normal for a woman to desire. In fact, it is strange not to wish to have children.
Yeah.
Very few people should have insights. Here I wrote her, but it should have been me, into my inner feelings. So
Okay.
people need to be very close to me, and only few people will be close to me and get to know who I really am.
Okay.
The ideal life, a couple of typos here. So the ideal life is one in which a person can raise children, tend a garden, read and write books.
Oh, very nice.
And people who do not read or have other intellectual hobbies are limited. So people who don't travel and who aren't concerned about the good life and, you know, that kind of somewhat bohemian way where you know, you don't just buy wine, you read about it before you buy it, or you don't just buy a bunch of flowers to put them in a vase. You color coordinate with the pillows that you have because you've just read about feng shui, you know, these kinds of things.
I see. So yeah. So she's also a little bit, maybe a little bit intellectually snobbish kind of thing.
A little bit, you know, but tastefully so. She's not the kind of person that would go overboard about it.
Okay, good.
Maybe I should add that. I don't know. A tad. Okay. A tad snobbish. Good. Abstract motivation. She wants to feel important. I don't know. Sometimes, like, is abstract the same as general in a sense? Like not giving too many details, or is this good for an abstract motivation?
Yeah, like she wants to feel important. That's a great abstract motivation. You could even make it even more abstract, like, I don't know, about something else. You could say like abstract motivation would be freedom, and concrete motivation would be getting out of her jail cell and like going underground in South America.
So in her case, then childbearing, but then we go into the concrete one because I said she wants to have children at all costs, or a child. I wanted to put that A in italics, but I forgot.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure whether she just wants one or more, but since she's infertile, then even one would do. Because she's very single-minded about it.
Yeah, she just wants to have children or whatever. Yeah, because maybe if she gets treatment, she'll also have several children at the same time, because
that tends to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so now moving on to the paragraph structure. I couldn't quite wrap my head around it. So just like someone was saying earlier, too many ideas. This is something that tends to happen to me, but I think I've narrowed it down a little. So into 5 separate sentences. Mary has been trying to get pregnant for the past 5 years.
Right.
Not sure about the 5. I need to think a bit more about this.
Okay, but also in the first sentence, say something about her situation. Like Mary is, you know, I don't know, an independent, Mary, an independent woman with a good income has been trying to get, you know,
Mm-hmm.
pregnant for the last 5 years, for example.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so a little bit more details about her social status in.
Her, well, not necessarily her social status, just the situation that she is in when the story starts.
Okay. Okay, situation she's in. Okay, so Mary, who is pretty well off, happily married, has been trying to get pregnant for the past 5 years. When this finally happens, so I guess this would be the first disaster, right? She has a miscarriage.
Yes.
Now, she has the miscarriage as she is giving birth, so she goes through like a stillbirth.
Oh, that's
Now,
bad. Huh.
yes.
Okay.
And then I continue the sentence, and I'm not sure, is this the same? Can I put it in the same bit, or is it a new idea? Because I said, and she decides that it is the clinic's fault for what happened, so she wants to sue them.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. Okay.
So it
So
can go together, this bit. The miscarriage, the stillbirth ended deciding to sue the clinic where she had the miscarriage.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, good. And then somebody recommends, like I haven't thought who, some acquaintance recommends one of the best lawyers in town for this.
Hmm.
So she calls that woman and agrees to have a meeting with her.
Yeah.
Now, I guess this is where the second disaster comes in. I'm not really sure the structure is making me nervous. She goes to this lawyer's private practice, which is in her own house.
Okay.
And she sees that this lawyer woman has everything that she, Mary, has wanted. So she's got her private practice in a big house with a big garden, and she's got 2 kids. So she has like a total breakdown, I thought, where she feels so little and so small and unimportant and barren, and just like she's not worth anything, that she tries to break the whole thing off with this woman and tells her that she doesn't want her services anymore or something like that.
Okay. I
I'm
mean,
not-
so she has to find a reason, but I'm sure she finds a reason. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's just that she's confronted with the life that
Hmm.
she had built up in her head, and then when she sees that somebody else has that, she can't take it.
Yeah,
just
she gets
has to-
triggered by it. Yeah.
Yeah, she has to get out of there and run away.
Hmm.
Okay, at some point, I don't know, in here somehow, they need to have a real conversation, because what I've written is that the lawyer woman, I've called her Ava for now,
Hmm.
confesses some things to her which prove that her life is not picture perfect. Now,
Good.
I'm not saying her life is a disaster, but she just shows the less beautiful parts of her life. She makes them visible. So they kind of, okay, I'm going to sound a little cliche, but I do find that women have this tendency sometimes when they feel like they've connected, and I do this too, to suddenly feel this like sisterhood kind of thing, and then share things that they wouldn't normally share.
Right.
So I'm hoping that I can create this kind of moment between Mary, the woman, and Ava, the lawyer, where
Yeah.
Ava would show Mary that her life is not as amazing as it feels, or
Well,
as
it's
it
good. You have the structure, when you have to create that moment. And
Mhm.
so that's the second disaster, right? Around there, or just
Yeah.
after the second disaster. Okay.
Yeah, right after, because I guess the first one would be when Ava's like, when Mary's like, I gotta get out of here. I can't take this. This is too much. It makes me feel too much like I can't do life, basically.
Yeah.
And then the resolution, because I would imagine them having this talk in which, you know, they realize things about each other. And in a sense, okay, Ava's a secondary character, I suppose, but even she could be developed enough that she would see some things in Mary that she doesn't have or that she wishes she had.
In
Does that
that
make
case,
sense?
I recommend doing the character structure also for Ava,
Okay.
because she also has an arc that she goes through, you know.
Mm-hmm. I kind of felt like this
So
is
that
unavoidable for.
that sounds a bit like a resolution, the fact that they have that moment.
Mm,
So maybe, yeah, I mean, and the third disaster, what would that be?
uh, so the way I saw it was that the stillbirth was the first disaster. The second disaster, the moment when Mary has her breakdown and decides to leave. And then the third disaster is not really a disaster because, as you say, it is just showing that Ava's life is also not so perfect.
Yeah, that's more like a resolution.
Because
So
my resolution was going to be that Mary decides to give up the lawsuit, but that she gains a friend.
okay.
But something's missing, right?
Yeah, and I would say that the third disaster can be like, you know, she says because in the second disaster she says, you know, your services are no longer required, and then the third disaster could be that triggers that they get into some kind of heated argument where both of them get emotional or something like that, and then because they've both expressed feelings, they're able to connect on a deeper level in the resolution.
Oh, okay, that's nice because it's also not as cliche as my version of, oh, you know, us girls, we have so much in common. Let's just have I don't know, give each other a hug, you know?
Yeah, let them fight it out first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Great. Okay. I think this sounds really good. You have the structure. You have to make the
I have a question.
yeah.
Would it be useful to do like a character outline for my second character, which is the magical being that my main character is going to meet? Would that be useful to do before actually starting writing?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, it would be useful to do. Yes, since he's not human, it might be challenging, but yeah, I think that could give you much more an idea about him and about his motivations, etc. Maybe some things that go on in his plane of existence before coming to Earth and that kind of thing. So you know where he's coming from. Yeah, that'll make it. Yeah, that's a very good idea, Dana.
Thank you.
Coming back to the resolution, I have a question also. I know you wanted to say something too. She decides to give up the lawsuit. I've said this, and then she gains a friend. But is it necessary to say something about her position on having a child? Because this was, as you say, the thing that made her tick in the beginning. So, and I've no idea yet if she's going to say, okay, I'm giving up on the lawsuit. However, I want to still try the treatment and try and get pregnant again. Or I've decided to, I don't know, let it go, adopt a child, whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends on what she sees in Ava's situation, right? Also that, and also, well, if you could make her hell bent on having a child, and then maybe, you know, she could realize that all this fighting will reduce her chances of having a child. But I don't know how that will be tied up with her, or tied in with her relationship with Ava, but you know, can work it out and see what comes out of that.
Because for this relationship between them to be substantial enough, it should have an impact on her final decision about
Yes.
having children or not, right?
Yeah, well, at least about the lawsuit. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
About the lawsuit, sure, but further
But
than that, you know?
I mean, she may still want to have children, but she might prioritize it over the lawsuit and see that she was kind of going the wrong way with the lawsuit. I don't know, but these are things, you know, that you can work out along
Discover.
the way. You see what I mean, you see how we're doing it. It has to be consistent, and at a certain point it gets its own logic.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think you're doing well with the consistency. So, you know, just have to make it a little bit higher resolution with another character structure. And also when you know Ava's motivation and Ava's characteristics, you'll know more about how that conflict plays out.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It'll unravel itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so let's move on to who else? Yeah, we have Laura and Juana left. So okay, Laura, have you written something?
No, actually, I didn't. I start reading, but it's not enough to be shown. It's just an idea, not very well outlined. And I work on it.
What is your idea?
It's about an old lady who has an old house, and she wants to sell it. I'm not sure yet about it. Why? Maybe she wants to go somewhere in some warmer place or whatever, but she doesn't want us to sell to just anyone, because the house, she is a noble birth, kind of aristocratic, well educated and so on, and she doesn't want to let the house to anybody, so she decided to um, uh, post an announcement that she wants to sell the house, but actually her hidden agenda is to have kind of an interview with the potential buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And a young couple, it's not sure yet that it's a young couple or just a couple,
so her
came
main
to see the house.
Wait a second. So her main motivation is to sell the house, or her main motivation is to have an interview with the people?
Her main motivation is to find the right people to buy that house, because she inherited from her family. Okay.
Okay, that's
and
nice.
And the young couple comes to see the house, and when she opens the door, you came from the interview. No, we are here to see the house. No, come on, sit down. So here is the intrigue, and that's the main idea. I wrote something, but it's not to be shown.
And do you know what her criteria are for the people who will eventually be allowed to buy the house?
This is still the creative process. Yeah, I was thinking two things actually. To have she has a piano, which is the most important thing in the house, and she wants at least to listen the classical music, if not maybe even to be a piano player. And second, she has an animal. I don't know yet, a pet. I don't know yet what kind of pet. That she cannot take. It's the pet's house somehow, so she cannot take the pet there. So she wants to find someone to be sure that will take care of the pet and the piano.
Wow.
And this young couple actually just come to see the house. They like it, but not that much, because it's expensive for them or something like that. And
they have to stay with the pet.
Yeah, and then the lady just announced them that you are the winners, and said, "What winners? No, you are the winners because you will buy the house. I decided that you were the one." And now that they start to, oh no, my chat to pick it up. Sorry, now they start to think, okay, that lady is so nice, and yeah, that's real, and okay, so they start thinking about some. Loans to take some money from someone and somehow to solve this because they feel somehow obliged to this lady because they were chosen.
Okay.
So and some adventure, some conflict and so on, and I don't know yet the closing, what's the end. I guess the lady would change her mind or something like.
Yeah.
I don't know yet why.
So you could make it as a like the big conflict is between them, like between the lady and the young couple, and their different motivations, and they perhaps don't understand each other. And then so you have to know what the couple's motivations is as well, and how they misunderstand each other, that kind of thing.
I mean, I didn't find yet that element. What they turned them to accept to buy the house, just because the lady is so nice, or the lady is very convincing, and they pay respect to her somehow because she is the descendant of a noble family, and wow, that house is really, but it's over their their level of financial.
The budget, but what is the resolution? How will it end?
This is something that I didn't find yet.
Okay.
So maybe the transaction will not happen. That's pretty clear, but I don't know yet why.
Yeah, and it maybe somebody has an epiphany. Like they have an epiphany. Actually, I don't need to take this house, even if I was chosen.
Yeah, this lady is crazy, and I don't want to. She wanted to let her the piano. Yeah, maybe they would like to get rid of the piano, but lady said no. It will written in the contract, or they want to get rid of the pet, parrot, or whatever pet it is.
And she's gonna come.
Yeah.
Twice a year to check that they still have it.
Exactly. Okay, maybe I make a nice discount to you, 50% or something, but with one condition: to come to spend the Christmas with my pet here in this house.
Yes, and the pet maybe has a special personality. That's also
absolutely part. Yeah, and behavior. It's like that. The pet is the owner of the house, actually.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. Yeah, I think we're getting somewhere. Like,
so maybe that's why the lady wants the pet to stay there, because in this way she's still connected to the house. So
yeah, and she's also free of the pet a little bit because it might have quite an intense personality. I mean, who knows? I don't know. It's all up to you, but yeah, this sounds like fun. So I look forward to seeing the structure, but you can send me the structure once you have done it, so that I can comment on it. Great. And Juana, what's about you?
Okay, sorry, I had some. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I wrote a couple of things. I didn't finish it. I think I'll go towards something that it's a bit like a horror story. And basically it's about this young woman, somewhere 30, 35, something like that. And she owns a bookstore for old books. Something like, and she likes reading all this type of horror stories, but like old style, like Poe or Lovecraft, something like that. And then she just lives this really not boring, just practical, mundane, ordinary life every day. And I was thinking that the first disaster, sort of speaking, is it doesn't really look like a disaster, but it's sort of a break in her normal routine. So a friend of her asked her to go with a group on a car trip. So it takes her out of the environment she's used to, and she puts her in a different environment. She basically goes on a car trip. She doesn't really like to do this kind of things, you know. She spends her holidays mostly reading and stuff like that. She doesn't leave a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So the people invite her. Her friend decides that enough is enough, so let's just get you somewhere out of here.
Yeah,
And
that's the first disaster.
And they invite her to go on the car trip with this group. And during the car trip, the car breaks down. And it sort of breaks down in a village, like in the middle of nowhere, something like that. And the village is, let's see, what's the word? Yes, in that village, there are the ruins of an old castle. And because they don't really have anything to do until the car gets repaired, they decide to visit the castle, and they end up spending the night in the village because they don't have enough time to leave. The car is not ready, the repairs are not ready until the next day.
Yeah, that's classic.
Yes, it is classic indeed. So, but I'm currently reading Lovecraft, so things kind of got stuck with me with ruins and towns and stuff like that.
Sure.
Haunted mansion. So, and it's October, so at the end of we're close to October and it's Halloween upon us, so it sort of got there.
Yeah.
And so while she visits the ruins, I thought she could like scratch her arm and some blood, some drops of blood fall on the ground. And that night she has nightmares about things that happened in the castle, and she sees herself as the main character in that nightmares, like involved in the ceremonies that happened there. And she wakes up and she has this drive to go to the castle to figure things out. During the night, everybody sleeps, but she just, puts on her clothes and goes there.
Wow.
And she sees, when she gets to the castle, she sees that there are no longer ruins. The castle looks like if it's like whole, like if it's lived on. And when she gets there in, like, I don't know, not in the middle of the castle, what's the word? Inside, she gets inside the castle and she finds like this ceremony hall. And I haven't quite decided what happens there, but basically she sees like herself performing a ceremony, conducting a ceremony. And I haven't decided how it ends. So I thought either she doesn't come back the next day, she just disappears at dawn with the castle because she doesn't leave there. She doesn't leave before dawn. Or I was thinking, well, that the other self, the one that she sees at the ceremonies, sort of takes her place somehow. So she remains trapped in the castle, and that other self of her goes back and lives her life. I haven't decided yet because everything.
Yeah, that would be quite an ending. Yeah.
Yes, I thought I kind of like that because I thought like because she scratched her arm, because of the blood on the ground, somehow it creates a connection with that castle.
Yeah.
Or with that with the past ceremonies and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm going. I need to
Mythologically, she could also, eat something there. If she eats something, then she could be stuck there. That's like one of the rules. Also from the myth about, what's her name? Persephone, right? Isn't it Persephone in
hell? No.
Yeah, down in Hades, that she eats the pomegranate and then she's just stuck there.
Yes.
Okay, that would be great. And maybe you could make it so that she thinks she's making things better by, you know, in one of the disasters is like her trying to make things better, but of course it just makes it worse, and you know, she ends up stuck in the castle.
Okay.
So yeah, good. So you know what to do with the snowflake method. So I would say you, Juana, and Laura, please write it out like schematically. But yeah, you know, I like this idea about the castle. So write that out, send it to me, and I'll give you some feedback, because next time is our 4th time, and we need to have the draft, at least the draft, finished for next time, because the time after that we're going to publish. So we have to do that. And has anyone thought about an illustration for the cover of the anthology? Okay. Yeah, Liana?
I was on mute. I haven't thought of a cover per se, but I have thought that there are some common points to these stories,
Good.
and I think that I would like to create the cover, but I'm okay with other people. I don't know, contributing in case you want me to do it. I'd be actually very curious to hear your input also.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so you've written down points that the different stories have in common.
A couple of things, yes, but I think I need to think about it a little more, or perhaps it would help me to look at everybody's taglines again, or something like that, if that were possible.
Yeah, so maybe I can send everybody an email so that everybody has everybody's email, and then you can send your thoughts to everybody about what the things have in common, and then, you know, if someone wants to reply back, they can, you know.
Yeah, maybe we can do it like, I don't know, in the form of a Google Doc or any kind of editable document where everybody can chip in with ideas.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say that I will try as well to design a cover, because I wrote some points as well, and yeah,
Okay.
found some common traits.
Great. So yeah, I mean, it'll be good if we have some idea about the illustration for next time.
Mhm.
And then of course we have to have the final candidates for the time after next. So that we can make a quick vote on the 5th time, and then we choose which illustration to use, and you know, we make the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So I will also send you guys the different styles. So I should send you styles for so that you can use those styles when you write out the draft, so that it'll be, you know, pretty well formatted by the last time, because there's always formatting problems. There's always a lot to do at the end. So the more we can preempt that, the better. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll send it to you with the different styles, and I think there will be only a few styles. There'll be the style with the title. There'll be the you know, for the title of your story. There'll be a style for the first paragraph, and then there'll be a style for the other paragraphs. Then there'll be a style for the stars, if you make a pause in the story. And remember after the stars to use the first paragraph style again. Yeah, so I will send that to you, and you can even write directly in that, or if you've already started writing, you can paste it in to the relevant style sections so that we can save some time in the last session. And also so that you can learn about styles a little bit. Okay, great. So I will see you next time, and in the meantime I'll be waiting also for a structure from Laura and from Juana, and also if somebody else wants to send me an updated structure, you can do that and write what it is that you have changed, so that it'll be faster to go through and give feedback on. So great. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
yeah, and see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye.
night.
Bye.
all.
Bye.
Good
Bye.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.